Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to use this stamp set. It is from Paper Rose. It's got some nice little sentiments and many thanks and beautiful, and it's really lovely, and it's actually called Beautiful Day. So we're going to do a bit of rainbow colouring. So we've got 6 little distress inks to make up our rainbow, and we'll talk about those in a little bit. Now we've got some Express It Aqua watercolor, which is really nice because it's actually really quite white, and it sort of has a little bit of a smoother surface than one side, and sort of like the Tim Holtz. So I've gently pulled this off the backing. It's a brand new stamp, never to be used. It's going to be used. It hasn't been used before. So it comes off, because Paper Rose ones, they're quite good, really good quality. So it can be a little bit sticky to come on. So we're going to go through candied apple. We're going to do carved pumpkins, squeezed lemonade. We're going to use, and I'm going to rub it off, and this is going to cause me problems. You wait and see. Mowed lawn, salty ocean, and wilted violet, and I'm rubbing these off on that little bit of scratch paper, especially the lighter colours. If you rub them off, you're just going to not have that. And we're going to spray both. This one, particular one, we're going to spray both the cardstock and the stamp with a little bit of water. And we're going to do this card basically, well, in the end it ends up being about 4 times. And we're just going to use different techniques. So I'm going to put a little bit more just up in that corner there of the wilted violet. Just wait and see what I do. So you're going to learn a couple of things from this. Just you wait. So I'm going to heat dry it, and I'm going to cut this out, and we're just going to stop it from moving too much. Now you could add more water to this, not a problem. So we're going to clean this page off, and this particular one we're going to go a little bit backwards, and we're just going to spray, I think on the stamp, this one. Same sort of deal. Now you don't need to fuss too much with getting the ink really, really close. And look what I just did. So make sure your cardstock is further away. We're not going to throw that in the bin. We're going to fix that. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to fix that. But make sure you know which one is going to be your cardstock that you want to keep and which one is your scrap. All else fails, just move it away. So we're going to hold it there for a little bit. This one is, see what I've done? And so we're going to use a little bit of water here and try and swap it up. And it does do it to a point. And I'm just squirting a little bit of water on the side. I'm going to use a pencil. Well, there you go. And use a pencil just to try and mop some of this up. And it ain't going to come off. Like it'll come up, it'll lift to a point, but it ain't going to come up. But that's so fine. We're going to fix it later on. And you don't generally need to leave your stamp sitting there in the water, but on the cardstock. But you know. So that one we sprayed it on the stamp. Now you could have this move. You can add more water. You could add more water to the stamped image afterwards. This one is, we're just going to spray the water on the cardstock. And again, we're going to stamp it up, ink it up, exactly the same. The candied apple, the carved pumpkin, the squeezed lemonade, the mowed lawn. And just because the ink is so light, we're just wiping it off. So getting rid of it before it sinks into and contaminates the rest. But really you could just leave a little bit of a line, a gap between the two things, and let the water do the work. So we're going to hold it there for a while, do a little bit of a dance and wait until I work a lot with my hands, can you tell? So each one is quite different, and I decided to add a little bit more water to this and let it move a little bit more. And frankly, I'm just playing. I just want to see what happens. So I'm just dabbing a little bit of water on the side there and dabbing it off with the change of colour and getting some more water. And we're just lightly tapping just to help it move a little bit. As I said, you don't have to do that. You can do whatever you want. So there's different ways. It seems to be that the water, and I just went off and dried that. So that is the stamped water on the stamp. Then we have the water on the cardstock and not on the stamp. And then we've got the one that is both, that we've just stuffed it. But as I said, we're going to fix it. I'm not going to stop. So we've got some Versamark here, and we're going to be using this Hero Arts White Satin Pearl. This technique has been done for a long time. You can do it with textures, watercolor textures, like your Tombos or your Ecoline, or what else? Can't think of anything else. Mermaid markers, probably, your Zig Clean Color, anything. And it depends on what you want, what sort of image you want. Now this is going to pick up just the colour underneath it. And it's just a soft, that's what I mean, like over the ones that have had more movement of the water, this will provide you with a little bit of the original element again. And we're going to use, and that's a paper bag because it was on my desk. So on my desk, I'm going to use it. And I was being lazy to get up and get my little tray. But it's all good. Most of my other inks, embossing powders, are all in little drawers. So I just pull the drawer out and let it go. So that's all dried and melted. And you can sort of see the shimmer just then. So did you see that flicker? So put that away. This is number 2. And so we've done the same thing. I cut it all out. So I've embossed it and it's the same satin. And now we're going to do this one. And we're going to hide, well, we're not going to hide that. We're going to do something to that. And we have the option to hiding it. Same thing again. All in the white satin. And that's it all done. No, don't worry about that. This is where we're going to play with this. So we've got our 6 colours. And what we're going to do is we're going to hide, because it was really lucky in the same way that the orange was placed in a position that it's right near the orange. So it lended itself really, really easily. And I don't need all this colour. I'm getting a bit too carried away. And you can see there the yellow is perfect. There's no contamination. There's no green or red or yellow or orange or whatever on it at all. I'm just showing you all the different ones. So that was the both. So what we're going to do is spray a bit of water. And we're going to add more colour. And keeping with the rainbow colours of red and the orange and the yellow and everything else, we're just going to add more yellow just to make it look that it was always going to be that way. Now I am going to mop up these colours. You're not going to see it, you'll see it at the end. I'm going to mop these colours up with another piece of cardstock. You do have to be careful because you'll see that some areas get very muddy, but I just couldn't really let that colour go to waste. So it's a lot darker. The card is a lot darker. It's the same technique, and we're going to use the black embossing powdered, and we're going to go with the flow and just see what happens, frankly. But you can see, I mean, you can still see that there, but it just looks a bit more like it was the watercolour and doing it. And we're just dabbing it over all around the place, so it looks a little bit more, what's the word, random. We'll go with that one. Looks a bit more random, and that the watercolour is done in itself, not us. We've already got the satin pearl underneath it, so it's trapping that image in. So this is a tailored expression, simple strips of background, and I've already cut it out with white embossing, black cardstock and white embossing powder. And the Thinking of You is another, but it was just sitting there and I can't really tell you what it was for. You can see the image there, so you can see some of it, it's a little bit muddy, and then I added a little bit more red in for the flowers to make them stand out and brighten those up a little bit. And that one we're going to use this little piece of vellum, and we're just going to glue this straight down, and what I'm going to pop it up with some foam dots. And you could see that I've pulled it, one of the foam dots, I've pulled it away from the backing sheet, but I haven't actually, I've taken some of the backing sheet with it. So I put it down and then it disappears. So these strips are really, really good. The tailored expressions. There is a couple of different, I think there's quite a few different ones, and you're seeing more and more companies come out with them. I think there's a birthday, there's a friendship, and there's Christmas, and as I said, there's another, I just saw one recently coming out. So that's how our cards are going to look. And I'm going to use some bigger strips of foam. This is probably Doris, or might be Couture Creations, I can't quite remember, but any foam strips will do just fine. So we're going to trim those down a little bit. So these card bases are A5 folded in half, so it makes an A6, Aussie A6. And so which reads about 14.8 by 10.5. So I've cut these down to 14.4 by 10. Yes, by 10. And we're just going to have these hang off, and we're going to just trim off the end of the banner, just so we've got a little bit of white background to it. Now you could easily put a little bit, trim it down slightly smaller, but I don't know, I like to have a little, even though it's white on white. So I'm going to cut these, I'm going to come back in a minute and have these all glued down, and I'm basically going to do the same thing to each one of them using my little T ruler. Or did I just speed it up? I may have just sped it up. Let's see what I've done very shortly. And clearly I've just sort of sped it up a little bit. But we're going to just use the T ruler and try and get them as straight as I can and trim off the edges. So this little bonus card, you can see in the right hand corner, it's a bit sort of muddy, but a blind man would be happy to receive that. And I don't mind it. I still don't mind it. So I'm going to trim these little foam dots, foam squares or rectangles. No, they're not rectangles. What are they? Hexagons. Yes. And we're going to use these just behind the black. This is the benefit of long nails. You can just glue it. So this is the one that, watch it. It's gone. Dun, dun, dun. I'm like, where is it? Out of the corner of my eye, I saw something fall. So that's where he was. So we pull off the little bit of the leftover backing tape, and then he will stick down. You will stick down. There we go. Stay. So we're going to trim this down and that's pretty much it. So there's going to be a couple of photos at the end of the cards. You can hop over to the blog and have a look at the cards and some close-up of the bits and pieces of the different elements. And I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. My little channel is growing fast and it's definitely blowing. Oh, I forgot. We're going to add some little sequins. And I go through and I actually do that to all of the cards because they're sequins. They're fun. And it will sort of lift this card with the dark, I personally think. So we're going to use some multi-matte medium and a Marvy jewel picker. And I've struggled with these little sequins. They were so sticky to my fingers today. And I didn't have stuff on them, but they would just seem so sticky to my little fingers. So we're going to, I think this is where I cut all these off and we come back to the 4 final cards. So pop over to the blog and have a look at some close-ups and a little bit more information. As I said, please like and subscribe to this video if you want to hear more. I will be back. I am trying to put out videos every Tuesday and Saturday. So that's the plan. And my multi-matte medium is going to play up in a minute. So I cut off, fix it, and it's done. There you go. There's the 4 cards. So on the stamp, water on the stamp, water on the cardstock. So there's much more movement if you put the water on the cardstock, and water on both. And then there's just the bonus. And it's not that I don't like it. It's a bit muddy, but I couldn't leave the watercolour there. So thanks for stopping by, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.